much automated onto the property as I can so that my ranch is just self-sufficient and everything. I have some big things planned, life-changing.
As many automated systems as I can put on the land so that my ranch can take care of itself. I see big things coming up, changing my life. Noah Brown is the family's chief inventor and mystery. A minute ago, his long-guarded shelter finally gave into the curiosity of all the people he had kept close and far away. What they found there will shock you to the core. This is the place to be if you want to know what's going on with Alaskan bush people. If you want to see more deep finds like this, please like and subscribe right now. You won't want to miss what we have in store for you. There is one thing that is certain about Noah Brown. He is still the most strange Alaskan bush person, and his home is deep in the Alaskan woods. That house is really different from any other you've seen. It's away from all the noise of the outside world. Noah Brown seems to be very different in every way. Even though his brothers lived in the wild and worked hard to make a living by hunting, fishing, and farming, Noah chose to do something different. He loved to learn new things and keep things secret. He also loved being by himself the most. People always wonder what's going through the minds of people like Noah, and everyone wonders what that's all about. Noah, he seemed like a mystery and a strange mind. He was also very different from everyone else in his family because he was always testing things out in a corner. Everyone was interested in Noah and went into his head and secret cabin. Even his closest friends and family didn't know much about what was going on behind closed doors. There was a lot of mystery in the house, and people were interested in what went on in the corners. They were in luck, because Noah's house was off limits for years. The fact that it was locked up and watched made the mystery even stronger. The family was one of the first to talk about what they thought was going on behind the doors. What was Noah making inside, and what did he want to keep secret? In this way, the cabin slowly turned into something strange. It was now a gold mine full of people who were both curious and careful. Anyone who knew about it had questions, but solutions were never found. Time, on the other hand, always shows what's really going on. The doors finally opened, and it was time to go inside. They found something much more shocking than anyone could have imagined. They didn't want to get involved in Noah's life at first, but they thought the truth had to be found. As they crossed the threshold, they all had to give it a lot of thought about what solutions they might find. That's what they found in the cabin: secret plans, survival kits, journals with codes, and even a room that no one knew about. These facts changed the way everyone, even Noah Brown's family, thought about him for good. The guy woke up, and no one saw it coming. It was necessary to walk through the puzzle in order to get out of it. In fact, that's what they did. It is important to know about Noah Brown in order to fully understand what they found. You see, Noah Brown had always been the most interesting and captivating member of the Brown family, even before they had all the TV time you could imagine. His siblings learned more about things like hunting, fishing, and building that you would find in the wild. Noah Brown chose to think about something else. He was very different, and his thoughts would go to the strangest places. He was always moving with the wind, getting ideas all the time. He drew plans and thought of machines that no one else could see. Everyone in his family thought he was the creator because he was so different from them, and his brain worked in a way that no one else's did. This was good for everyone who knew and loved him. It was a blessing and a curse at the same time. It kept him different from everyone else. He liked being by himself most of the time and always needed his own room, even if that meant living far away from everyone he lived with. That's how the cabin became his home, his safe place, and his whole world. He could get away from the real world and enter a wonderful world he made there, a world that was full of secrets and stories. It was nothing like his family home, which was always a happy place full of laughter and chaos. Noah kind of liked being in his cabin. He liked how quiet it was and how cut off from the rest of the world it was. People were all very interested in the house. As they walked by, they couldn't help but wonder what was going on inside. People asked why the doors and windows were always locked and covered. Also, they didn't understand why Noah didn't want anyone to touch or get close to it. No one had ever been able to solve the puzzle until lately. He made the shack into a safe place where he could keep all of his deepest thoughts and ideas. There were crafts and hand tools all over the walls that so vividly showed the many hours he spent working, thinking, and building. For Noah, his home was like a temple where all of his creations were displayed. But for everyone else, it was just a mystery. His brothers would often make fun of the idea that he might be hiding a time machine or something else that could change the world. Even though most of the time they were just kidding, they were still very interested in what Noah was hiding in there. No one could wait to find out what Noah thought was so important that he didn't want anyone to see it. A lot more people were curious about it because he spent more time alone. People close to him started to wonder what he was hiding and if it was dangerous. Even though his life was always open to the world, they asked him if he valued his privacy. No one was sure for a long time what was behind Noah's doors. They only knew that it had turned into a huge secret that no one could figure out. There were even some who thought Noah might be getting ready for something unknown. He might have been making things or stockpiling goods that would help them stay alive no matter what they faced in the wilderness. Then some people thought it was just Noah's mental safety net, a place where he could hide and keep his identity away from the noise of his life. Life of a family. They found out that Noah's Ark was much more than just secrets and locked doors. He needed that kind of place to be alone and make everything he needed to make. When the family went into Noah's home, they quickly learned the truth, which would probably shock a lot of people before they even knew what was inside. So many years went by when they didn't know or even have a clue. In the shelter, some doors were always locked, and some places seemed to be hidden on purpose. If you got close, you could see that not all of it was open. Some of the locks looked like they were built a lot more recently than the rest of the building. No one could see anything about it. After that, anyone who tried to reach for the handle would always fail or be stopped. Noah Brown wouldn't say anything when they asked him straight. He would just smile and change the subject instead. Everyone was more interested because he wasn't giving a straight answer. They didn't understand why he wouldn't just say what he was doing. Why was he afraid to share if he wasn't following the rules? It was a surprise to everyone in the family that the door had broken trust. It was no longer just a door. It kept reminding Noah that he was living in two different worlds. Everywhere, his brother was creative, funny, and willing to share what he knew. Then to the world that no one could get to, that person was hiding things from everyone else that he didn't want them to know. Everyone kept wondering why he would have a hidden place to hide even in his own house. When people saw the locked door, they were both scared and interested. The fact that Noah wouldn't even talk about it scared his family even more until they finally opened the door. Plus, everything they had been dying to know was finally admitted. When Noah Brown's family finally got behind his locked door, they found a lot more than just a bunch of dirty clothes and shooting gear. What they found let them learn more about Noah as a person. Spread out on the tables, pinned to the walls, and nicely bundled were pieces of paper with drawings, diagrams, and strange math on them. It looked like each drawing showed something about Noah's mind. He had a clear, different view of the world. He seemed to see things the way they could be. The paper had plans for tools that had never been made. They also had survival tools that looked like they were from the future and gadgets that mixed scientific knowledge with living in the wild. Some designs looked like water purifiers made from old metal, others like generators driven by nature, and still others were so strange that not even his family could figure out what they were for. It looked like Noah Brown was getting ready for a time when his family would need these inventions to stay alive. He might have been so focused on drawing what was going through his mind, which was free and wild at night. In some way, everything they found seemed amazing, but what shocked the family even more was how accurate it was. Noah had carefully drew every line. He marked the details with words that showed how big things were. He finished every page. Why did he have to hide all of these things and himself too? Was the question everyone had. Why did he keep the door to his house shut? Was it because he was worried that other people wouldn't get what he saw? One page after another, his family kept reading what they had found and came up with more questions. They were curious about why Noah had never talked about his plans and why he kept them secret instead of being happy and showing them to everyone. Was he afraid of being misread or called a crazy scientist? His family had a lot of questions. The more things they saw, the more amazed they were by what Noah had made. Noah wasn't just drawing because he was bored. It was very clear that Noah was a genius who had taken his ideas and turned them into a whole world. Some pages were easy to read, but others had strange notes written in code and symbols that only Noah seemed to understand. Other pages had small warnings or signs, as if he had thought of all the risks the family hadn't even thought of. It was almost as if Noah had seen a long line of bad things that would happen and put the family in danger. Noah may have been planning answers to certain problems before those problems even happened. This was a scary thought. It's not a wonder that what they found made the family confused. It's hard for them to decide whether to be pleased or scared. People began to wonder if Noah was a man who was shutting himself off from the world and not wanting to let anyone in, or if he was a genius who had made plans that words alone could not explain. No matter what happened, they knew for sure how smart Noah was and what he was keeping so secret. Even though the plans that was great, but that wasn't the only thing his family found. The more they looked around Noah Brown's house, the more shocked and amazed they became. What began as secret plans quickly turned into something much scarier. To keep the goods hidden, they carefully put them behind wood panels and under floorboards and corners. It felt like a mix of planning and keeping things secret. Food was kept in cases that kept air out. There were jars of dried herbs, packs of tools that had been carefully wrapped, and even weapons that had been made by hand. Anyone who looked behind those closed doors couldn't help but wonder about all of these things. It was almost like Noah was saving it for a day he was sure would come true. What else could his family do to understand what was going on? He kept all of those things hidden for a reason, right? What was bothering him so much that he had to make all of these things? Why did he keep so much? You could almost tell that every drawing and secret box meant something. The rice was weighed out and packed so that it would last for a long time. After that, there were water bottles with filters that Noah had made himself. Besides all of these things, there were also lines, traps, and even very sharp knives. What did Noah want to do? Was he trying to get ready for a time when he would have to survive? Or did he just follow his own feelings because he had been out in the wild for so long? The tools made by hand out of wood, metal, and bone stood out from the rest of the things that were found. Also, they didn't look like simple tools. They looked like they were made by someone who was ready to fight back with all guns drawn against specific threats. Once more, the family didn't understand what was going on. They gave it a lot of thought and wondered why Noah would even think to hide them. Had he seen something scary? Or did he think bad things were going to happen in the next few days? Some places had answers, but not many people could ask them. That wasn't all. In another part of the house, under a fake wall, there were groups of what looked like military-style survival gear. There were tightly rolled blankets, fire starts that wouldn't get wet, and maps with strange lines and circles drawn on them. The maps made things even worse because Noah's family started to wonder why he had marked so many specific spots deep in the woods. Were all of these spots meant to be backup plans, escape routes, or even places he planned to take his family if things went wrong? There was also hidden cash that wasn't just a bunch of goods. No matter what came, it was a safety net. Noah seemed like the type of person who was set on living in the present, but he also had his sights set on the future. The question still stood. What did Noah see in the future? Did he think something bad would happen in the woods? Was he afraid that strangers would mess up their life?